The 2025 QB market for the offseason is a pretty bad one, just like last year, as the biggest move last year was Kirk Cousins and his $40 million contract, as that shit was pretty garbage, as it feels like we haven't had an exciting QB market in the offseason since the shakeup in 2022 when Russell Wilson went to the Broncos and Deshaun Watson landed with the Browns with his freaky ass. At this point, is trading for a QB even worth it in the NFL? The only deal that has really worked out is the Matthew Stafford trade back in 2021 when the Rams won the Super Bowl with him, and the Lions are pretty much on the cusp of one right now with what they got back in Jared Goff. So there are still a few QBs hitting the open market this offseason, but realistically, there's only one quarterback who could actually shake up the league, even though I personally don't think wherever he lands, he'll do anything this season. And that man is Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold is a system quarterback. And the Vikings got the absolute best out of him last year, but we saw how it ended. As if the Vikings lowball him, I doubt he's going to take it. He'll be looking to get paid because there's no way Sam Darnold is repeating what he did last year. Fifth in both passing touchdowns and passing yards. He did ball out last year. I will not cap on that, but I feel like it was just the magic or our stud of the 2024 season. But I feel like he is going to be on the back, man. I don't think the Vikings are going to bring him back. They said they weren't going to tag him, as the Titans might trade down in the draft this year, and I could see them making a deal with the Raiders to stay high in the order. So this could bring them to look for a QB this offseason, and they do have the salary cap to waste money on Sam Darnold, as they really haven't had a quarterback in forever, as I feel like the last time I can remember a quarterback coming out of the Titans was Ryan Tannehill's old ass. But even then, he didn't pan out over as a long-term option. They have the cap space, again, to pay Sam Darnold, as if that is your quarterback next year, I believe the Titans have sealed their franchise tank for next season. Darnold balled out last year, but I feel like it was just last year. I think that 2024 season was a fluke, and I'll eat my shoe if he balls out next year, but I think he might end up on the Titans.
Seeing ghosts.
Next on my list, I have Justin Fields, and I think Fields is going to return to the Steelers. Fields should have started for them respectfully in the 2025 season. He's basically a more mobile Russell Wilson, and he knows the playbook, and I believe as the season goes on, Justin Fields can improve. The Steelers should buy in on Fields and start a mini rebuild this season, and you never know, Fields might come out better than Wilson did the whole season last year, as he's still pretty young, and again, he's rotted away on the Bears, so I feel like you haven't given this man enough opportunity here, as the Bears have been washed, but hopefully their signing of a new coach will reset their franchise, but that's a topic for another video. He only threw one pick in 6 games last year. His QBR isn't amazing, but he's still a better option than a mobile quarterback who's in his 30s. I'm talking about Mr. Unlimited. I feel like the Steelers defense can carry this team no matter what, and they have to get ready to pay DJ Watt. TJ, I hope you didn't think I said DJ. As they have a quarterback who's at least in the middle of the pack. I think that defense carries them to at least another playoff berth like usual in Pittsburgh. I feel like you got to give this man a chance. If you don't, there's no way you're bringing back Russ for another run back. He collapsed last season. The only other situation I can see the Steelers for a quarterback is if they trade for Bean Rodgers and go all in again next season. Speaking of the devil, I got him next on my list. Aaron Rodgers, he sunk our season last season as a Jets fan, and now he wants to leave us. Thank you for bringing a Super Bowl to New York, Aaron Rodgers. We appreciate you. I believe he's most likely getting cut, because I can't see anybody trading for this dude. His passer rating is straight up terrorism, because it makes it seem like he was a competent QB last year when he's not. I feel like Bean Rodgers is just too immature for the league now. I feel like he's a locker room cancer, and most divas this time around in the NFL, they really don't work out. My biggest look-to for a diva that just ended up being ass after he was kind of put on the spot was Juju Smith-Schuster, maybe Chase Claypool. Hell, you could pick the whole Steelers wide receiver core over the past decade. Divas just ain't working out. I don't think anybody's trading for the Beanster unless the Colts decide to do what they did a couple years ago, and they pulled Phillip Rivers down to Indianapolis and his 50 kids, and I think they're going to do it again. As the Colts say that Anthony Richardson is their guy, but the Colts have plugged in a new quarterback into their lineup for how many fucking seasons this time around? Come on. Since Rivers, they've had Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, and Gardner Minshew, who played better than Richardson, even though he had a down season this year. He played better than him. Richardson has been borderline benched twice now, as I can think. If there's any team to trade for a washed-up QB, it's gonna be the Colts, because I don't know why. They think he'll be the answer, but he's gonna rot away, just like Phillip Rivers did over there. Maybe a playoff berth? Probably not, though. Up next, I got Mr. Unlimited. And I've read a lot of reports that Russell Wilson might go back to the Raiders to reunite with Pete Carroll and try to run back the boom era in Las Vegas. But I really just think the Raiders are going to find a way to draft Shedeur Sanders, especially after Tom Brady started planting the seeds of the devil to get him there. But if they don't, it's hard not to imagine that NFL Twitter will fucking explode if Wilson re-upped with his old coach. As if Russ doesn't end up on the Raiders, I could see him going to the Browns, even the Colts maybe if they don't make that deal for Rodgers. As if the Steelers didn't collapse in the last 4 weeks of the season last year, Russ would have had a decent passer rating for the year. He'll end up starting for someone, I think, next season. It feels like that he has one more year left in him, but Mr. Unlimited is running short on time. I would sign him for a bench option. It depends how much money he gets. If he gets more than $15 million next year, that's fucking insane. Like, actually crazy. And there has been talk of Matthew Stafford moving, but I don't think he's going to move, as I feel like Matthew Stafford, if he wants to win another ring and play his best football, there's no other team to do it other than LA. And it's not like LA wasn't in a position to win a championship last year. They were a touchdown away from sealing the trip back to the NFC Championship, but they were just stuck in the fucking snow in Philadelphia. The Rams may have started slow last season, but they finished strong, and there's no reason to move on from a quarterback that has already gotten you a ring. I think they should focus on finding a better receiver, maybe take Davante Adams off our hands, and reloading for one more run with Big Matt. Unless I've read rumors that they might trade for Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams, but why the fuck would you do that? Aaron Rodgers, I think, is worse than Matthew Stafford right now, currently, as Aaron Rodgers. I swear to God, when that trade notification drops, it's going to hit like a Miller Lite on Sunday night. My God. Next, I got Derek Carr, and I think he's the version of our modern-day Alex Smith. I don't think he's going anywhere. He has a solid arm, nice passer rating, but the dude just cannot stay on the field, and New Orleans already paid a bunch of fucking money for him. Unless they restructure the contract, they're just going to be paying a lot of money for a man who can't stay on the field. Who knows? He might come back. He always has that 1 year, like when the Raiders said, I remember Raiders fans were like, oh, he can't stay healthy, and then he had that 1 year where he balled the fuck out. I think he was a Pro Bowl that year, maybe. Can't remember correctly. But I believe he's going to be stuck in New Orleans, as Derek Carr has already said on an ESPN interview, I believe, that he will not take a pay cut, but he would restructure the contract to help the team out, as I feel he's going to be in New Orleans. If he stays on the field, again, they could have a boom season, as I feel like football right now is based around a good quarterback, and then you build good pieces around them. That's another opinion for a different day, but Derek Carr is not going nowhere unless they trade him to the Jets. Next, I had Kirk Cousins, who I had a fucking great segment on because I thought he was going to go to the Browns after a contract cut, but it seems the Falcons are going to keep him around and put him on the bench for $40 million, as I think they're still going to trade him. I mean, how can you not just trade that man if you're going to sit on $40 million? That is fucking crazy, but apparently he's going to ride the bench out in Atlanta, but if not, call me crazy, he might get moved to the Browns still if they trade for Myles Garrett. Maybe. Because they did trade for, I believe it was Jadeveon Clowney. I might be capping. My ball knowledge might be on display here, but it was unfortunately not. It was Matthew Judon, my fucking dumbass. They did trade for an edge rusher last season, so maybe they do it again for Myles Garrett. I don't know, but Atlanta's kind of in a tricky situation over there. It might be rebuild time again. And the last person on my list is Trey Lance, as I feel like people have not given this man the opportunity to properly show us what he can do in the NFL. He reminds me of my guy Tyrod Taylor. So Trey Lance could be a good fit for a team that is looking to make a run at QB competition in the weeks leading up to the regular season, like a team that might draft a rookie, as I could honestly see him with either the Jets or Giants. Could be either one, but I feel like he's going to be in New York in some sort of competition to start for that team, because both of them have nothing in regards to a QB, even though the Giants do have a high pick in the draft this year and they might go for Cam Ward. I hope he ends up over there, as that'll be great for New York. Hear me once, hear me twice. Trey Lance is going to be in New York somehow. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up on the Giants, because they play them twice a year and they probably saw Trey Lance somehow and they're like, we need this guy. But Trey Lance is going to be in New York somehow. That's my money bet. That's my go-to. That's my one pick that I'm actually solid on.
And then finally here, we're going to do some rapid fire for signings that won't matter, but who gives a fuck? I want to get some picks out there, so let's go. Zach Wilson, he's going to end up on the Chargers. Marcus Mariota, he's going back to the Washington football team because Jaden Daniels is going to have a slump the second year. It always happens. Joe Flacco, he's going back to the fucking Browns. He's old as fuck, but the Browns need to tank, and he already knows playbook. Get that man back in there. Jameis Winston, he's going to the Raiders. I feel like the Raiders are either going to draft Shedeur or they're going to team up the big boom team with Russell Wilson, Mr. Unlimited back in there. Next, Cooper Rush, Giants. Cooper Rush, why is he going to the Giants? Because the Giants watched them get fucking destroyed by Cooper Rush for like the past 3 or 2 years. So Cooper Rush is going to switch teams again. I feel like interdivision QB bench, especially bench QBs, they always flip-flop on teams over there. Boom. Next, Daniel Jones and the Vikings. Why? Because they need a veteran QB presence, and I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Darnold does not stay and JJ McCarthy gets hurt again and Daniel Jones is out there balling for the Vikings. And then finally, I got Mac Jones. Mac Jones is going to end up on the Titans. I don't know why, but he just will, because Mac Jones Somebody watched that Jacksonville Jaguars tape and was like, we need him in the building right now.
And that's it. I'm itching for more football, even though baseball's right around the corner. I just cannot stop thinking about the pigskin. So I'll probably do a couple more of these free agency lists, who I think is going to go where as we wait for more football to start off. Still about maybe a month left at the time of recording till baseball starts. I've been watching the Knicks. It's kind of sad to watch a team that can't beat the fucking Celtics, so there's no point of really looking toward the playoffs unless they don't run into the Celtics. Then we might be up. But they also took back shots at the Cavaliers, but that's beside the point. Hope y'all enjoyed. Hope y'all stick around for another one, and stay frosty.